I'm Sam Kuhnert, and this is The Greater Game. This segment will connect leading professional sports stars that you know and love with TCT to talk about their walk with God and how faith has made a difference in their life, both on and off the field. Today with me in studio is 13-year MLB veteran Kirk Rueter. Kirk, thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
Let's go ahead and fast forward through high school. In, I believe it was 1991, you were drafted after 4 years at Murray State University to the Montreal Expos, who we both know no longer exist. What was that feeling what was that feeling for you like? And then where were you at spiritually at that time?
It was kind of scary for me because I had never really been away from home. I mean, I went down to Murray State, but I was one of those kids that I always drove back and forth. If we didn't have a baseball game, I was coming home just to be with mom and dad and hang out with my buddies. So to get drafted, it was a big decision. And I didn't go 4 years because I got drafted after my junior year, and that was the decision whether to go back to school or to start my professional career. And we prayed about it, went back and forth, had family discussions, and decided that I should start my professional career. And it was one of those things where they sent me to Florida, and I had never, like I said, been away from home where I couldn't get home if I had to. And so I called home every night on the payphone and was telling them, I don't know if this is for me. I'm not having a good time. I don't like it. And mom and dad just kept saying, hey, you'll get through it. You'll get through it. And at that time, my faith probably, I was still thinking, hey, he has a plan for me, but that was still one of those times where I was thinking, I can still do this. I can do this on my own. I've done it. And, I think that was the start of it, because when I came home, mom had cancer already, and then she kind of had it more after I came home from that first season. And, then I just started getting to where I was putting stuff in the Lord's hands and saying, hey, take care of my mom, do what you have to do. And I think I could start seeing things clearer just by going out on my own. And I think that was part of my journey that he had planned for me, because I tell people all the time, if you'd have told me that I was going to go from Hoyleton and go to all the cities and all the places that I ended up going, I would have told you there's no way. I'm not doing that. I don't like that. I want to stay in my little town and do what I got to do in my little town. But, God is great, and just He had that plan for me to take this kid from this small town and that had never been out of that town, basically, but to go and see the world and to be able to experience, Major League Baseball, which I think every kid that grows up playing any sport wants to get to the highest level, kind of as a dream. But, he made that a reality for me, and I know how blessed I am to be able to kind of give that, to other kids and spread my word just through what I've been through, and to tell them, hey, God has a plan for everybody. It doesn't matter if you come from a town of 400 or a town of 4 million. Right. Whatever he has ready for you to do in your life, you can accomplish it if you just trust in him. And, that's kind of where it started for me is back when I did leave and got drafted. And like I said, that was kind of the beginning of the family stuff with mom and dad, and I was drawn closer, obviously, through all of that.
What would you tell an athlete right now that's questioning a relationship with Christ?
I'd say just trust. Just go to him. He's calling. He wants you to come. And I know when I was still playing, it was harder because we would have chapels, on Sundays, every Sunday. But you had the guys that really were in there for the right reasons, and some that were, if they went 0 for 5 or they were in a 2-month slump, they'd go in and act like, oh, well, if I go, to chapel, I'm going to get 5 hits today. And I think that was the thing that my brother always told me that too. It bothered him a couple times. He said that he heard people, back home, oh, your brother will make it because he's a good guy. God will make sure he makes it. And Brant would always call me back and say, hey, there's a lot of good guys. He goes, God doesn't really care if you throw a no-hitter today or, he just wants you with him. He goes, just because you're a good guy doesn't mean you're going to play for 20 years in the big leagues or anything. He said, I just want you to know that. And, and I tell people now, if they say, oh, we're going to pray that we win. And they go, did you pray that you'd win? And I said, no. I didn't think that God cared if I won that day. I think he had more pressing things that he was probably worried about than me winning a baseball game. But, I would just tell him to follow that path because it's the right path. It's a great path, and it alleviates a lot of pressure. I know with kids nowadays, even sports in grade school, high school, I don't know if I'd like growing up now because it seems like they take that like it's the major leagues or you're in the NBA when you're, high school and in grade school. So just trust in him, and he has the path chosen for you already, and he won't do you wrong. I'll guarantee you that.
That's awesome. Well, Kirk, I can't thank you enough for joining us and the TCT viewers on today's The Greater Game. To hear more about Kirk's testimony, go to tct.tv. Kirk, thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.